Sea ice loss in Antarctica is a manifestation of climate change and rising ocean temperatures, and is a huge environmental issue that harms the species biodiversity in the Antarctic. According to an article by the Worldwide Fund in 2008, the average global temperature could increase by 2 degrees Celsius from pre-industrial levels by 2042, leading to an average of 10 to 15% reduction in sea ice coverage in the Southern Ocean.
The energy from the rising atmospheric and ocean temperatures is transferred to the sea ice, melting it in the process. Numerous marine organisms in Antarctica rely heavily on sea ice for feeding, breeding, and other essential functions. Climate change is a global issue caused by a combination of anthropogenic factors, including the burning of fossil fuels, intensive farming, animal production, deforestation, and other human activities, which create an accumulation of greenhouse gases that trap heat in the atmosphere.
Sea ice loss is a detriment to species biodiversity in the Antarctic, as it causes a reduction in population of two important species, the Antarctic minke whale and the Antarctic krill. The Antarctic minke whale are expected to lose 5 to 30% of ice-related habitat in the next 40 years. The effect of this sea ice loss is that they will have to compete with each other and other organisms that depend on the sea ice, like seals for space and food. Therefore, this can lead to the reduction in prey population and the whole whale population.
Furthermore, a main prey of the Antarctic minke whales is the Antarctic krill, which are tiny shrimp-like marine animals that are dependent on sea ice. Krill reside in regions that are mainly covered by ice during the winter. Since the 1970s, Antarctic krill populations have decreased by up to 80% in the Scotia Sea and the northern Antarctic Peninsula due to sea ice loss.
And the effect of this reduction in krill populations is increased competition for food for the Antarctic minke whale, which preys on the krill. This means less matter and energy is available to be transferred to the krill's predator, the Antarctic minke whale. One potential solution to the sea ice losses in Antarctica caused by global warming and climate change is to promote the consumption of fake meat products. Today, the imitation meat industry is rapidly growing, and companies such as Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat are producing various fake meat products that closely mimic real meat.
Some strengths of this solution are the environmental benefits it provides. By replacing animal meat with plant-based alternatives, the consumption and demand for animal meat would decrease. As a result, there would be less animal agriculture, which would reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This is because meat production, especially red meat, such as cattle and lamb, generate methane gas and nitrous oxide, either by burping during digestion or through manure. In fact, according to the New York Times, livestock makes up roughly 14.5% of the world's greenhouse gases each year. Reducing the emissions of greenhouse gases would help alleviate climate change, which causes the sea ice loss in Antarctica and reduces species biodiversity for organisms such as the Antarctic minke whale and the Antarctic krill. In addition, less land and forests would need to be cleared for livestock production, preserving habitats and biodiversity. According to the CNN, around 40% of the livestock grazing land was originally forest. By helping reduce consumption of beef and other grazing animals, fake meat would help reduce deforestation.
Other strengths include the social, economic, and technological impacts of the fake meat industry. Social media has heavily influenced the rise of veganism and vegetarianism.
As consumers become ever more aware of the health and environmental issues created by meat products, the demand for plant-based alternatives have risen quickly over the past decade. This presents a huge economic opportunity for entrepreneurs and companies to generate profit in the imitation meat market. In addition, the rise of the fake meat industry has also led to new advances in food technology that allows companies to create plant-based alternatives that more closely mimic the appearance, texture, taste, and smell of animal meat.
On the other hand, there are also many drawbacks of fake meat, and these include political, economic, and social considerations. In order to change consumers' habits on a massive scale, the government must create incentives for both companies and consumers to switch to plant-based diets with fake meat. However, not all political parties are supportive of this, and meat producers and corporations would lobby against fake meat. In addition, it would be difficult to get many consumers to make the switch to imitation meat due to a combination of financial and social barriers. Today, fake meat products are often more expensive than real meat. Although as the industry becomes mainstream and companies begin mass production, the cost would decrease. Another consideration is the culture of the consumers and the dietary habits. Shifting away from a diet with meat would be difficult, as it would require major societal and cultural changes. Many people would be reluctant to give up meat due to taste or lifestyle habits. However, with the increasing prevalence and popularity of fake meat products, more and more people would be influenced to switch from consuming animal meat to plant-based imitation meat.
Overall, fake meat would be a viable solution to the threat to species biodiversity posed by sea ice loss in the Antarctic. Although there are certain limitations, its numerous benefits in terms of the environment, society, economy, and technology outweigh its drawbacks.